All right, it says we are live. I appreciate everybody being here. What is this, stream number 15? I don't know, but we've been doing this for about 3 weeks. Welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show, research show, whatever you want to call it. Really, we're just building a community and we're talking about crypto. We're doing the research and the deep dive so that we're up to date on whatever new is. All right, that is my mic check, making sure I have microphone working for you guys here. And let me get you to where you can see what I see. And what are we going over today? Hyperliquid, right? But not just Hyperliquid by itself, because that wouldn't make for a whole stream. We're also going over the ecosystem of Hyperliquid. But as we always do, we kind of want to talk about what's trending, where's Bitcoin at, top gainers, top losers for just a moment. One, because we should be talking about that. And two, because, well, we need to give people a moment to come in, right? All right. Can you see what I see? All right, you can. Great. So first, 111,235, if you want to make it that. 111,000 for Bitcoin, let's say that. Ethereum holding 4,490, almost 4,500. I love to see Ethereum doing well. For the longest time, as soon as Bitcoin would pump, things would move a little, and the minute it would dump, everything would crash way harder than it pumped. And so to see Ethereum really holding is giving me a little bit of hope for altcoin season to stay strong through this little bit of a pullback and really rally when Bitcoin rallies. So XRP just barely under $3 right now. For me, $3 on XRP is a great area, rather slightly under or slightly above, until we start getting some more pump, right? And it might take a few weeks. So it's really about what you're doing in those few weeks. When Bitcoin pulls back and people lose interest, do you turn it all off and forget about it? Or do you keep with it and keep raising that crypto IQ? BNB, $855. Solana sitting at $204, above $200. I really like a lot of these levels we're seeing given the current situation of the market right now. Pretty good. 21, almost 22 cents for Dogecoin, which I hold a good bit of from the last cycle, unfortunately. Should have sold it. 85 cents for Cardano. And we got to say Hyperliquid because Hyperliquid's what we're going over today. So $46.98. Shout out to anybody who's in here. We're just giving people a minute to jump in. We are going to look at what is trending. And we got Mantra, ticker Ohm. This is a project that when it came out, I saw it and I just didn't pay any attention to it because for whatever reason, it just didn't catch my attention, and it's done really well, honestly, but I wasn't in a position to buy every coin, so I didn't really care. But it's a good project. We've gone over it many times. I'm not trying to put it down. Kronos, which we went over yesterday, had a bunch of hype around it yesterday. Crow seems a bunch of people who have jumped in here were big fans of Crow. So shout out to those people. Hopefully they are going to come back again today. Hyperliquid, number 3. How could we forget it? Yes, we are going over it. I didn't pick it just because it was trending. I picked it because it has a little bit of stuff in its ecosystem. And I think if Hyperliquid's doing well, you should, 1, probably know what it is. Not financial advice. But 2, know what's in its ecosystem that's positioned to maybe do well as well, and might catch some gains off of that as well. But remember, we're doing research, and everything I talk about is not a signal to buy. We will talk about projects that are very good, I'm sure, and projects that are terrible, I'm sure. And so don't think you should buy them just because I'm talking about them. It's not a secret code. Pudgy Penguins, another cool-looking project I don't own any of. And a lot of the big boys today are trending. Ethereum, Hyperliquid, Mantra. So not a lot of projects that we don't know what they are. I will grab this one, Dolomite, ticker Dolo. Is it like YOLO? So it has $81.6 million in its market cap, number 590 by market cap. On the max log, it says that it's been tracked since April 23rd, 2025. So it seems like it hasn't been out that long. But most of all, what the heck is it? Go down to categories. Oh, it's a decentralized exchange. I like that. Automated market maker, AMM. You will see that abbreviation a lot. lending protocol, Coinbase Ventures. Looks like it's on Barachain and Ethereum. So if it's Coinbase Ventures, you would think that it would be on Base Blockchain, but it doesn't seem to. DEX aggregator. Pretty cool. Check out their website real fast. Waiting for people to roll on in. Hyperliquid deep dive today, not just the project, but also the ecosystem. It says, get the most out of your assets. Dolomite is the only lending and borrowing platform that supports over 1,000 unique assets. Lend, borrow, and earn on the most comprehensive DeFi platform without losing your DeFi native rights. Pretty cool. Sounds very decentralized. We could launch the app, but there's no need to do that because I'm sure this project will come back up. If you're joining us day after day, Monday through Friday, 8:30, that's New York time. You can apply it to where you live. Then you're going to pretty much see us go over most projects, right? Most projects that matter and a few that don't. Margin Trade DAI, one of the people who've been pretty active in our Discord, cool guy. He's actually given me a couple of projects to look at. And he's got another one. I have it kind of pushed back, to the mid to end of the show. So if you're wondering what that is, I'm not endorsing it because I don't even know what it is myself. But in the spirit of the fact that he is being active in the Discord, I'm going to go over it for him. I'm going to take a look at it. So that's Dolomite. We know the niche, the category, as we always say in underground crypto, narrative, narrative, narrative. Know your categories, know your narrative, and then know your ecosystems as well. I'm very surprised to see Dolo in the Barachain ecosystem. Barachain's one I've had a lot of fun deep diving, but doesn't seem like it's really taken off yet, right? And Barachain is proof of liquidity as Ethereum is proof of stake. So that is, we got pumped out fun. So that is what's trending today. Let's go look at the top gainers, top losers. Top gainers, top losers, where we usually see some more interesting projects. See how our numbers are doing here. What is today? Oh, it's Wednesday. All right. Who knows what the state of the crypto YouTube is today? We never know. I would be doing this regardless of if anybody was here. Just sharing it with you guys and trying to build a community of like-minded people who love crypto and want to deep dive and research. So hit that subscribe button if that's you. And if that's really you, hop in the free Discord where we are going to be chatting about all kinds of things. Before I get into the top gainers, top losers, I've been kind of deep diving the ton ecosystem on Telegram, specifically with GameFi. And I've been posting what I've been finding over in the Discord. I have a whole category there you can check out that I'm starting to put my updates in as I'm deep diving. And so if you'd like to know if you can make some airdrop money on Telegram with GameFi, well, get in that Discord and start talking with us, start sharing, or at least read what I put, right? Dora Factory. Is this Dora the Explorer? It's up 84% today. Probably a meme coin, right? So Dora Factory has recently migrated from an old contract to a new contract. Is that good? Is it bad? I don't know. MaxChart says it's been around since 2023. Okay, so this thing's been around a long time. $35.4 million in its market cap. Category say governance. Okay, well that's really interesting. So what the heck is Dora Factory? Does it have anything to do with Dora the Explorer? Probably not. But of course, that's the first thing I think of. Decentralized agentic organization. Zero knowledge cryptography. Sure. Organization, metaphysics, encrypted messages, permissionless relay network, programmable social media. So there's some social fi in here. Dora Voda. Intelligent system, blockchain network, Noster, and Yakihon. Hopefully I said that right. And what the heck are we looking at? So you can pair these things kind of together here. I don't know what the point of it is, to be completely honest with you. But it looks like it has some social fi and some other zero knowledge and other, niches that you can put it in. The website is kind of confusing, to be 100% honest. It's not doing anything for me, but it's up 84% today. Don't know why. It is an Ethereum contract. Of course, the altcoins are holding in pretty strong because Ethereum is holding in pretty strong. That's my personal opinion. So then we have Camp Network. I'm going to go over the top 3 or 4 of those before we really hop into our Hyperliquid deep dive, specifically the Hyperliquid ecosystem. Do you know what Hyperliquid is? Do you own any Hyperliquid? That is the question. Put that down in the chat. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. We are going over the top gainers, top losers. We just went over Dora, and now we are going over Camp. So, let's just go straight down. Smart contract platform, a layer 1. So Camp is its own layer 1. Historically, I know I say this a lot, guys, but historically, layer 1s have had the best return rates. You know, there are some meme coins that have had great return rates as well, but, you know, I would say from a more safety and return rate, layer 1s have done really well. $186.6 million in its market cap, number 343 by market cap, which I think is a useful piece of information. A lot of people sleep on that little data point there. It's up 49.8% on its max chart. August 27th, 2025. So this thing's got to be pretty new. Getting in early on a layer 1 that does well. That is the sauce for sure. Not telling you to buy this. I'm not invested in this project. I love to be transparent and let you guys know when I think about saying it. Built for the future of AI and IP. So we talked about story quite a bit yesterday that had a lot to do with IP as well. Own and monetize your IP in an AI-driven world. So it's a lot for creators. That's what IP has a lot to do with. Camp Network is a layer 1 blockchain built to modernize intellectual property infrastructure and power the next generation of AI agents on verifiable IP. AI is rewriting the rules of the internet, which is very true, and outpacing the growth of systems that protect creators. Camp is building the foundation for a new creative economy where creators can truly own, share, and monetize their IP. If you are somebody who is a creator, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, any of those places, right, and you're waiting to be monetized and you're spending 6 months, 8 months, a year cranking out content consistently and not getting paid, you should be a fan of this type of model. Yes, what we read here on the screen is pretty techie, but listen to what's being said, because these things can make you monetize your own, creations or your content without having to wait around for them to decide that you're worthy of being paid. And that is pretty much the gist of this. We could spend a lot more time on this, deep diving it, because I find it really interesting, but I don't want to get too lost in the sauce. I want to talk about Hyperliquid and its ecosystem. So we'll just read off some of these. We have this IEXEXRLC. I just want to check the categories on this thing. What in the world is this? So it's AI. What else is it? Oracle, DPIN. All right. And max chart says April 19th, 2017. So it's been around a while. Why in the world is it pumping today 50%? I don't know. Then we got Wolf. Sounds like a meme coin, but that doesn't mean that it is. Oh, meme. So it is a meme coin. And it says it's been around since July 23rd, 2025. Up quite a bit on its max chart, 1,400%. And then we're going to hop over to top losers. Of course, I say this like every day. Whatever was top gainers from today seems to find itself on the top losers when it gets the pullback tomorrow. And we have Donkey, Ikami, or OMI, AMI as its ticker. WikiCat has come up many, many times. Nobody Sausage come up many times. Haven't ever heard of this OpenVPP. Aura, Hiobi has been top losers for a few days now. Wonder why people are dumping those. Well, without much delay, we're going to come over here to Hyperliquid and its ecosystem by market cap. Of course, right at the top, which is interesting because usually the top things in ecosystems are like stable coins. Hyperliquid is actually the top of its ecosystem by market cap, having $12.7 billion in its market cap. I think that is a data point that you should really keep in your mind. A lot of people get very lost in what is how many tokens are in a project, how many are circulating, what is the project trading at, and I think personally the most important thing is its market cap. Because if you wanted this to double, if you wanted to get into this right now and you wanted it to double your money, which is not really highly speculative for crypto, that's pretty safe. You need it to double its market cap. So it needs to go to, 25 point something? You just double the 12, at least 24 billion. 24 billion. So that's a lot of capital that needs to come in. Can it happen? Of course. I mean, this is a $1 trillion, asset class where Bitcoin, I think, has well over 2 trillion in its market cap. So, of course, it can get a lot of market share. It is seeming like one of the premier projects in crypto right now. So let's look at its max chart and see where it comes back to. It comes back to November 28th, 2024. So not super old, obviously, but not super new. It's not like it was launched this year. So it's been around a while. They've been building. I think Hyperliquid is probably one of the best looking projects in crypto right now. That is just my personal opinion. I know I say that often, but somebody's going to hop in here and act like I told them to buy that. So let me show you what I'm looking at here. And let's talk about a couple facts, right, before we get too far here. It doesn't when I pull it up. Technical difficulties. All right. Now it should let me do it. No, doesn't want to let me do it. All right, there we go. We just want to talk some factoids. Of course, this is ChatGPT. We do use it to pull information. So what is Hyperliquid and how it works before we even get to their website? It's a layer 1 blockchain. So category L1 right there. Put that in your mind. Hyperliquid is a high performance layer 1 blockchain built specifically for decentralized trading, combining the speed of centralized exchanges with DeFi transparency and decentralization. If you are a trader or if you really have just bought anything on Coinbase, you know what a centralized exchange looks and feels like. But can a decentralized exchange provide the same value and stay decentralized, right? So consensus mechanism, it uses a custom census algorithm, just a fancy way of saying how it works, by HyperBFT, enabling high throughput, how many things it can process, up to 200,000 orders per second, and sub-second block finality. I really do hope to break these things down and make them a little more simple for you if the words kind of throw you off because you're not really up to par on what the definitions of these things mean. They're usually not as complicated as they sound when said. On-chain order book model. Instead of using AMM, which is automated market makers, trades operate via a full on-chain order book, offering precision, visibility, and reduced slippage. If you've ever used any of these things, you will know why that's important. So, perpetual futures and derivatives support. Hyperliquid DEX, decentralized exchange, specializes in perpetual future contracts with leverage options up to 50x. Overview of Hyperliquid ecosystem. Dual chain architecture. The ecosystem includes its native L1 hypercore along Hyper EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine, and EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine compatibility, which is really important. Execute layers scheduled by the same HyperBFT consensus. This enables smart contracts and composability with native liquidity. Composability. So developer-friendly ecosystem because it looks like they are EVM compatible, basically Ethereum compatible is a way you could think of that. They can work pretty well with other developers and people who are already used to using Ethereum. That's my takeaway from that. So key features of the project and its tokenomics. So these are like interesting factoids that you should probably know about Hyperliquid. 0 gas fee for trading, one-click execution, sub-second latency, and centralized exchange-like UX. Advanced order types, market limit, stop limit, all the things basically that you would usually find on a centralized exchange. Anybody in here ever do a trade on a centralized exchange? Talking Mexi Global, Weeks, anything like that. Native vault lets users participate in strategies like market making and automated liquidity. That's a little bit more technical. Notable ecosystem projects. So here are projects within the ecosystem. Many of them I'm sure we'll probably go over today. Hyperlind, a lending protocol. Hyperfi, leveraged lending with their USDXL stablecoin. Felix protocol, a multi-collateral stablecoin. Kitten Swap, HyperSwap, those are automated market makers. Staked Hype, and then this Kinecue, I don't know what the heck that's supposed to be, but you can see it on the screen. Looped Hype, which are liquid staking and leverage strategy yields. So this all might seem really boring or really techy, but this thing being a decentralized exchange needs to have both the ability to provide liquidity, the ability to match orders together, all of the things that you would find on any other regular centralized exchange. It's got to be able to pull that off and remain decentralized, which is going to make some obstacles for them, but they seem like they very much have already figured that out. Cross-chain tooling and analytics is this Gold Sky, which is a data index, and tokenomics, right? Let's go to this. It's got 1 billion hype tokens, allocation breakdown. So 31% of it was airdropped in the Genesis distribution. This is how a lot of things are doing their distributions lately. Kind of walks right in line with the idea of a fair launch. If you don't know what a fair launch is, that's something you should definitely learn, because that's really important. Was the projects you're invested in fairly launched, or did they sell a bunch of it to VCs, venture capitalists, who get in way before you because they have, the legitimacy to do that, big money, and then they dump it on you as soon as it comes out and really hurt the project. Anyways, future emissions, 38.8%, 23.8% core contributors with a year lockup, 6% Hyper Foundation budget. I love when they have a budget for marketing and stuff, absolutely, and 0.3% community grants. And that 0.3% might not sound like a lot, but with a $12 billion market cap, I'm sure it's a decent amount of money. Utility used for governance, staking, gas, fee discounts, and ecosystem incentives. So why is Hyperliquid gaining attention in DeFi on chain? Well, we're going to come back to that just shortly, because we spent a good bit of time on this. And although all those things were great, I don't want to lose you guys, because I know that can be a little techy. All right, so here's Hyperliquid, right? Sitting at $46.81 in the max of its chart here on CoinGecko. It's up 618%. If you're just dropping in and subscribe, please hit that like button. And we're doing this Monday through Friday, 8:30 New York time. And Hyperliquid is number 16 by market cap. Let's go look at, say, the 3-month chart. Still doing pretty well. Looks like higher highs. Good stuff. So we already said it had 1 billion max supply, but how many circulating supply? 270.7 million in its circulating supply. And then let's jump right over to their website. So it says, I wanted to just go running down the website there. The blockchain to house all finances. This is kind of like their mission statement, right? How come when I scroll just the littlest bit, it wants to take me all the way down there? Crypto is fragmented today, right? So with any project that comes out, it's almost like they need to be solving a problem, right? Because who needs a project that does solve a problem that nobody thinks is a problem? Crypto is fragmented today, but it doesn't need to be. For the first time, build projects, create value, and exchange assets on the same hyper-performant chain. So that's kind of like their mission, right? The flagship application, flagship meaning like the biggest thing going on that it was built on, the premier decentralized exchange. We talked a lot about decentralized exchange. It's got low fees, up to 40x leverage, which is pretty moderate, I would say. Transparent and seamless. I just saw on Mexi Global, you can 400x leverage your Bitcoin trades. That's a good way to lose your money really fast, unless you are a pro of a pro. So Perps and Spot order books are 2 flagship applications built on Hypercore. We talked about Hypercore earlier. Do you remember what that is? But they are just the tip of the iceberg. All right, guys, scrolling down. User-built applications on the Hyper EVM interact seamlessly with Hypercore. High-performance applications are built natively. These financial primitives on applications on the general purpose Hyper EVM, which supports familiar Ethereum tooling. So that's kind of a developer type of thing. And the foundation of Hyperliquid blockchain is HyperBFT consensus. That's just how it runs. That's what consensus really means. Blockchain time, block time is what it's usually referred to, 0.07 seconds. Users, 887,540. Max throughput per second, how many things per second can be put through the blockchain, 200,000. And daily volume, it says $14 billion in daily volume. That's pretty cool because the whole thing, Hyperliquid, only has about 12 billion something dollars in its market cap. So when the volume is higher than the market cap, that's pretty good. Now, how consistently is it $14 billion? I don't know. No investors, no, which is great. It's what we were talking about, VCs and things that are sold. So it's almost like they had a fair launch. Now, they're not touting it. They're not bragging about it necessarily being a fair launch. Maybe a little bit. They say no investors. But I think that's really cool and worth noting. No paid market makers, no fee to any company, community first. That's what we want to hear, right? That is very on par with decentralized thought, right? Anyone can own, govern, and secure Hyperliquid through Hype, the network's native token. Own a piece of Hype today, basically buy some Hyperliquid. And that kind of brings us to the bottom of their website. And what does it probably look like on their app? Probably looks just like this, right? Looks like an exchange. How many of you guys have ever used an exchange before? Throw it down in the comment. Let me see like a 111 if you've ever used an exchange or ever made a trade in crypto or stocks, I guess. Really anywhere that you've made a trade, right? So let's hop back to our ecosystem. So I think we did it there. I think we pretty thoroughly went over Hyperliquid and talked about what Hyperliquid is, right? But let's talk about, oh, did I exit out? Love that. Let's talk about its ecosystem, right? Because what is going on in its ecosystem? Is it just Hyperliquid out here by itself, all on its own? Couldn't really be, because things need to be built up around it. We heard about Hypercore. We heard about a couple other things. So here we are back to their list by market cap. We are on CoinGecko, if anybody doesn't recognize the website. And usually under the main project by market cap, you're going to have some stable coins. So they have this USDTO. Feel like there are so many stable coins. Will the regulation that's coming through the American government change that? Or will there be even more? So Athena USDE. We have Unit Bitcoin, which is, I guess, like a wrapped Bitcoin for Hyperliquid's chain. Then we come to Per. Is that the meme coin? Yes, it says meme. But it's got $99 million in its market cap. So it is not the smallest meme coin around. That is for sure. Let's take a look at it. Oh, it says it's risky and it doesn't want me to go there. Let's visit it anyway. Let's be defiant and take a look there anyways. So this is basically taking us right over to Hyperliquid. Okay, so if we would have gone launch the app on their main website, this is pretty much what it would have took us to. So right here you have what's called a pair, which is per/USDC. And then you have a chart so you can see the price action. Look at that big old head and shoulders dumping right there. This is not a TA show. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I was hoping for a website. I think we were going to need to go to their Twitter and not the website they gave us for Hyper. But it did give you ability to see kind of what Hyper looks like in its actual app, right? So you have Hyper, which I think is a great play on words for a meme coin. Of course, it's a cat. I keep saying this. Can we get some other animals besides dogs and cats? There's a few out there, but not enough. Everybody just goes to a dog or a cat. I get it. Everybody loves cats. So Chief Intern Office for Hyperliquid X. Please engage constructively with the Hyperliquid eco so Per doesn't go hungry. Hit that water. All right, so 21.1 thousand followers. The job is not finished. Is the pinned post with 219,000. It's pretty good for just a word that they, 3 words they typed. It's a lot. So, but Hyperliquid is huge. How many followers did they have? 21.1 thousand. Most of those impressions are probably coming from Hyper, the main project, right? So HyperPer collectively gathers all of these different things. Believe that a small team can do something. Dream big, not taking the status quo as given. I mean, that is kind of the consensus of all small things, projects, companies in crypto, right? Self-funded philosophy for future vision, and you're just getting a lot of inside stuff. Seems like this Hyper has a lot to do with Hyperliquid, the main company, and it's not just a meme coin. That's the vibe I'm getting. It looks like we even have some kind of behind the scenes here. What does this say? Thank you for joining us, Malaysia's first. So this is international, of course. Anybody know where Hyperliquid is based out of? That is a good question that we should try to answer before the end of the stream. Any of my regulars in here? Drop a comment if any of my regulars are in here. Or if you're just in here at all. I love to engage with the community. That's why we have a Discord. And would love to hear you guys over there. I've been posting quite a bit. But it's a new Discord, so of course it's taken some time to build it up. So next we have UPump. UPump was one that I tried to look at earlier. I wish it would have had a website that I could just go to, but it doesn't. It's also, it had the ... Usually it only has the 3 dots if it's on other chains, but it just shows you the Hyperliquid contract. So this is a bridged token. So maybe it does have roots somewhere else. Maybe pump.fun. I don't know. I don't want to speculate that too hard. $94.8 million in its market cap. Looks like 1 trillion tokens, 31.9 billion in circulating supply. Let's hit that max chart. Max chart says July 14th, 2025. Not very long. Let's go to their Twitter. Oh, but you can only search on Twitter. It doesn't actually take us to their legitimate Twitter. I found that interesting. I don't know if it is pretty new. But what is the point? So it's a decentralized exchange aggregator token. Hyper EVM. Okay, so it's right in line there. It says Unit Pump, an interesting crypto project about which we will tell you more in the post. Very vague. Don't love that. UPump is the ticker, and there is little to no information about this thing. There is a cool new market experiment we're running on HyperFi. Notice the way that's spelled. That's like the meme coin we had just looked at. Too long or short pump. It's an isolated market at the bottom of the list where you long by depositing your spot, you pump, and earn points and a lending rate. So when it says you long by depositing your spot, I mean technically when you buy spot, which would be no leverage on any exchange, you're longing it because you're expecting it to go up, right? You just don't have a liquidation. Short by borrowing pump, selling the token for stables. Okay. Project X has the most UPump liquidity on Hyper EVM. So this thing seems to get a little bit of traction. Let's see. What was that one post? Had 1.1 thousand. So I would not say this thing is getting a lot of attention. Therefore, maybe we shouldn't spend too much time on it. And of course, I'm supposed to be writing these down, which I'll do just real fast. Because in the Discord, I write every day what we went over for the day. Just kind of for the community, even if there's not a lot of people in there. Like I said, I would be doing all of this stuff myself regardless. So I certainly would love some people, my fellow researchers and deep divers, people who love crypto for whatever reason, to join me over there. So let's take a look at this APU. Probably another meme coin, right? Yep, it is another meme coin. And meme coins have done really well, right? It's on Solana, it's on Base, it's on Hyperliquid, of course. It's got an Ethereum contract. Let's check out its website. I don't even want to try to say what it is. So we're just going to call it APU. Now live on Liquid. Awesome. Hyperliquid, that is. Everyone needs a friend. Yeah, that's true. APU is the community-driven meme coin revolution made by friends of friends. So, hello, friends. I think they're trying to say hello. Me, APU. So APU, whatever the heck that is, lovingly called Helper, isn't just a meme. He's a universal symbol of love and friendship recognized by millions. APU now leads the APU token, the meme coin revolution that proves friendship is unstoppable force. Okay, so this is a meme coin about friendship. How do you feel about that? Put that in the comments. How do you feel about this a meme coin about friendship? Kind of reminds me of like a charity token, right? And obviously, this thing's probably been around a while since it is on other chains since March 12th, 2024. And the chart doesn't look too horrible. Everything has this big high and a big dip pretty much. So that doesn't really mean a lot to me as far as the chart. But is it going to recover? Is it going to do well? Do people want to be in a meme coin about friendship? Hey, this is the modern ages, right? Where a lot of people are on social media all day, and are still depressed and have no friends and nobody to talk to. Kind of crazy. $76.5 million in its market cap. All right. So they basically have ported themselves over to Hyperliquid, but they're not Hyperliquid made or like native, right? Then we have another USD. Then we have Unit. So we have a lot of these coins that have like a U in front of it, right? So this is Unit Fartcoin. Fartcoin is an AI agent. Think Cookie DAO. Unit Fartcoin, right? What else is it on? Just on Hyperliquid. So I guess it is Hyperliquid native. And let's go search it on Twitter. So what is it corresponding to Fartcoin, right? This is UFart. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the name of the coin at all. I think they could have called it something else, but I think the proof is in how well Fartcoin has done. Love it or hate it, right? So UFart is live. Here's the pair. Looks like over on Hyperliquid. Do they just put a U in front of things once it's over at Hyperliquid? Not sure. Meme coin fun. Another one of these kind of, images where they say an interesting project about which we will tell you more in the post. So show us more. We want to know more. So Unit Fartcoin, or UFart, is a cryptocurrency designed for fun and yields in the meme space. It allows users to trade and farm on various platforms while enjoying engaging community activities. How is it doing that when I don't even think they have a website? So maybe we'll come across one. Team and participation, tokenomics and unity, accessibility, exchange sentiment, and price predictions. Do they have a website? We're already on their CoinGecko, so there's no point in clicking that. All right, well, that was pretty much a bit of a letdown. We got a little bit of information, but not the type of information I'm normally looking for. I will keep an eye out for it. I mean, the actual Fartcoin has an AI agent associated with it that brings, in my opinion, some value to Fartcoin. Just making it a meme coin about Fartcoin, I don't know about that. They need to have some value in today's day and age. Pictures of just random animals called meme coins is kind of out the door. You need to do something with it. So then we have Unit Solana, and I guess is very much like the same idea. I'm assuming they're not going to have a website. Nope, you can just search it on Twitter. So it almost seems like when they put a pair together, now it has a U in front of it. Seems like something they do in the ecosystem. Do we get another one of those pictures? So USI has landed on Aerodrome. But if we have Psi, why do we need USI? What is USOL? It's a one-to-one backed version of Sol. Yeah, so this is just like a wrapped version of Solana on, it says on Sushi Swap. Okay. Thought it would be on Hyperliquid. This is really interesting. And we're deep diving together, guys. Remember that. I'm learning at the same time that you guys are learning. And we're doing an hour every Monday through Friday. Honestly, on the back end, I'm doing quite a bit more than that, but I do want to share with you what I find. So yeah, it's like a wrap version. It's a one-to-one version. When you see that, basically, if you have one USOL, you have one Solana, just over on a different ecosystem. So then you start learning about interoperability, bridges, why that stuff is so important, even though it's not super exciting to retail. If you get on a new layer one and you can't get your other money over to it easily, or projects or whatever, then it can be really frustrating. And I've been there. Anybody else ever been there? Crypto Keep, what's up, man? Glad that you could make it. You working or something, brother? So max chart. Right now we're going over the Hyperliquid ecosystem. I don't know if I told you that, Crypto Keep, but it's been pretty interesting here. So now we're going over this PIP. I'm not sure what it is. Go down to our category. It's another meme coin. So far, we've been going over quite a few meme coins. Is it on other chains? No, it's just on Hyperliquid. And it goes back to December 8th, 2024. So these might be a lot of things that launched over on Hyperliquid in the early days of Hyperliquid. It only has $12.8 million in its market cap, but it has a very small max supply. I do love to see these really small max supplies. I really wish I had more things in my portfolio that have tiny max supplies because, man, they can go up fast. This has 1 million tokens in its max supply. Crypto Keep says, I was late to the show. No worries, man. I appreciate you coming regardless. Had a few things to take care of. I feel you, man. That never ends. There's always a few things to take care of. So let's go look at their Twitter. It's a meme coin. Did they have a website? Did I just totally not see that? X.com. So Twitter. Here's the little meme. Go ahead, follow me, Crypto Rom with the blue check mark. My face in the thumbnail over on Twitter. Would appreciate that. 9,000 followers, so very small. This one is very small, I think, for how long it's been out. How many people are like, I really want to get meme coins on the Hyperliquid blockchain? I don't know. Probably not a lot. Probably just people like me who are deep diving in research and think that, Hyperliquid is cool. Now, if you're a trader, the decentralized exchange might be really cool. I've not actually used it, so I don't know how the fees are, but I'm pretty sure they said it's something like 0 fees. I don't know. Well, I think everyone should look into buying, this PIP on Hype. Of course, you're posting about it. I'm sure that they want you to buy it. I'm not seeing anything here that's all that exciting, so we're going to move on. Got to know when to move on. My favorite 4-letter word, next. So we have this liquid launch, which might be a launch pad. That's what I'm hoping it is. Yep, launch pad. All right, so I was hoping that we would get to some things within the ecosystem that were maybe a little bit more exciting. Crypto Keep says Hyper is huge. It absolutely is huge. And that's why I really wanted to get into its ecosystem. I was hoping to find more of these things like launch pads and stuff a little higher up the market cap list, but that wasn't the case. Because this only has, $11.2 million in its market cap? There are a lot of small meme coins on a lot of projects. Ethereum, a lot of small meme coins that have more money in their market cap than this. So it says beta application warning. So there's, a good chance that this is very new. All in all, Hype hasn't been around that long. So this is a swap. It said it was a launch pad, but right away it takes us to Liquid Swap. Why did it take us to Liquid Swap? Is that a part of it? Liquid Launch App. Okay, so that's where we really want to be. I want to see the launch pad. Start earning now. Early access warning. So you're accessing all of this stuff really early. We got OYO. Hype Doge. Why not? Put Doge everywhere. H2O, Watercoin. Hack. And these are just, looks like different coins people have launched. I mean, Pump.Fun. You name it. Every ecosystem has this kind of stuff. Is it a good thing? Do we like the fact that anybody can make a meme coin and just put it up? Call it boobs. We have literally fart coin, butthole coin. Do we even need this stuff? I have no idea. Does it really distract people and stop people from really putting their liquidity together in, more projects or less projects, right? Instead of so many different projects? I don't know. Like this one right here, its volume in the last 24 hours says $77. What is the point of that? I think it's awesome that people have the opportunity. I know I'm spending a minute on this, but there's a lot of launch pads and a lot of people making meme coins. Everybody thinks their meme coin's going to get a couple $1 million in it so they can rug everybody. I know that's what a lot of people are thinking in the normal retail mind, right? But who knows? Retrospectively, they might figure all that stuff out and come back on you. I don't know if that's really a great idea. But anyways, these are tiny. This is a launch pad. If you want to launch a meme coin or something over here, this is where you would go to do it. And then, of course, they have a swap. Swaps are super useful, like I said, infrastructural type things. They got staking. They have a tab called Trenches. What do we think that is? Oh, the Trenches is the launch pad. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're not lying. That is the Trenches. This is where you could get rich or lose all your money in a pretty fast fashion. All right, so that's the launch pad. That's pretty cool. We got All Right Buddy, which I have heard of. I wonder if this is just another version. I really want to find some other things outside of meme coins. Not going to lie. I'm going to write a couple of these down as I will be posting them in the Discord. So if you ever wonder what we went over and you don't know, well, go check it out in the Discord if you missed it. And then you could just pick the projects that you don't know. So we had this PIP. We went over that. Then we went over this liquid launch. Trying to do this fast. All right, what is Sovereign? Sounds like sovereign, right? All right, let's see what CryptoKeep has to say. Nah, they need to stop these launch pads or BS. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's definitely how I lean. Look at Zora's Circus. I saw that when it first started. I'm gonna go out of this and just look at what he was talking about. I'm assuming it was one of the coins. Was that not on my list? Is that within the Hyperliquid ecosystem? Are you literally talking about Zora, the SocialFi DeFi application? I saw that when it first started. Hated the whole concept. People create crap and tokenize it. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, somebody's going to do a really good job with some of these things, but it's probably going to be quite a long time before somebody does it well. No, Zora is on base. Okay. It's not the SocialFi project. We'll open a new tab here. Go check out what he's talking about. Is it another launchpad? Is it called Zoras? Zoris? Am I spelling it wrong? Not seeing it. I see Zora, which has been really popular lately. What's up, anybody who's hopping in? Hit that subscribe and like button. Best thing you can do for a small channel. We are talking about Hyperliquid and Hyperliquid's ecosystem. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I would really love to see your engagement. We do have a poll going. Feel free to hit the yes or no on the poll. Is Zora on base? Okay, so this might be the one you're talking about. That is the one. Okay. Thanks, CryptoKeep. Yeah, I actually went over and signed up for it just to see what it was about. You know, thinking I'd post on other social medias. Let's actually do a DeFi one, you know. I don't know how I feel about it. It seemed like a lot of webcam girls are using it to make some dollars. I think that was an unintended effect, right? So 8.6 million and its market cap. It's got 1 billion tokens, this Sovereign that we were just checking out. But really we want to know what it is. It says GameFi. Well, they got my interest right away. Metaverse. So what is this? GameFi over on Hyperliquid. Has an Ethereum contract, but also Hyper and Base contract. GameFi I really want to always see be interoperable. And Zora is, I guess, I want to say it's like a Twitter, but it's really not. I'm terrified to click on the website, to be honest with you, for what it may have on the website. All right. It's a lot of stupid pictures. So on Zora, just as a side note, really just doing this because CryptoKeep is talking about it. Base won't accept my phone number, LOL. You're talking about Coinbase won't accept your phone number? Is that what you mean? The app Coinbase or Base the blockchain? So every single post you post on Zora becomes its own coin, basically, and then you get some shares of it and people buy and trade shares of it. But right now, if you can look at it, it's not real exciting. Like, what is this dingy picture of somebody who looks like they are exploring a abandoned building? Why does anybody care about that? But $292, I think it's just because there's not a lot on here. They're not even good pictures. So my man Crypto Keep is right. Right now, I feel like Zora is pretty stupid. But who knows? Maybe if you get over there and start posting some good content, we could turn that around. But there's so much social media. How many people are really looking for a new social media? Don't feel like that is the case. So let's hop back over to Sovereign. I swear it's supposed to be Sovereign is what they're going off of, but I don't know. Where gaming knows, I don't know. What does gaming know? It doesn't say. So this looks pretty gamified right here. Infinitely scalable games and worlds. I love some GameFi. I love some metaverse. I've probably said that too many times now, but I don't care. And where was the other comment? Did that person really delete their comment? That was weird. Maybe it was a bot. It's pure bullcrap, and that flew up in the market cap. Yeah, it did. Why it did, I don't know. Maybe because nobody has really gotten social-fi right, or like a social media decentralized concept correct. A few people that have, seems like some big money has come in and put some money down, hoping that they were going to do well. All of them have fallen apart. All of them have done terribly. Now, what is really interesting, Crypto Keep, about it is that Coinbase came out and said that, I mean, as you know, most apps you watch, most things you do have ads. Well, that's a whole, how you want to say it, it's a whole concept of revenue, right? It's a revenue strategy concept to build an app, whatever, and then you're going to watch ads, and that's how you're going to make money because the app is free. Well, Coinbase is saying they pretty much believe that a lot of like the same concept of what Zora is doing, probably applied a little bit differently. Coinbase is going to put the paid ad revenue system out of order and issue a new age of, I don't know, monetizing every little bit of content. I guess I'm probably not saying that well, but that's the idea. Base co-founder pump the shit. Yeah, exactly. That's basically what I'm saying. Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. Do they really believe that? Or did they just have their hands in that pocket and they really wanted to pump it? I have no idea. Sovereign is reimagining gaming. We keep going back and talking about Zora. All right, we're going to talk about Sovereign. Gaming by empowering players to own their digital assets and evolve from participation to architects of their virtual worlds. That would be pretty dope, but they need to make it easy if you're going to do that. So our ecosystem spans from low-tech innovations like NFTs and token-based ownership to high-touch experiences such as co-creation within fully on-chain games and autonomous worlds, AWs, from asset creation to player-driven economies to permissionless building on composable and modular environments. Sovereign pioneers the next era of interactive entertainment where deeper participation, empowerment, engagement shape the future of gaming. I feel like there were a lot of words in there that didn't need to be in there. So the Sovereign ecosystem looks like chess, GameFi. Doesn't get much more basic than chess, right? New mod elements. Okay, so they took chess and really changed the way it was played. That's a cool idea. Probably do really well, honestly. Empowering communities to thrive in decentralized economies. You could watch a full video. We're not going to do that. Take too much time. Revealing the vision. So participation layer. Can I scroll? Can I look at the other ones? Chain and token. GIG. SDK network. Something where the name is blurred out. I guess these are coming soon because you can't see them. Bread to Sovereign. All right, well, this is a cool idea, cool concept. Will anybody care about GameFi over... Is Jesse... Crypto Keep says Jesse. Is that the name of the person who deleted their comment, or is that the Coinbase founder? Man, I can't talk. Anyway, so this is GameFi on the Hyper blockchain and Base and Ethereum. Hope they do well. Definitely want to see interoperability. But if we look at the max chart, when did it come out? November 30th, 2024. Had a big pop and has been absolutely dismal and crushed since then. Down 50% on its max chart. I'm surprised with a chart like this that it's not more than 50%. Yeah, I thought so, man. I was just making a joke. Probably a stupid one. Let's see. Any other interesting projects here? We have Catball, which has got to be another cat meme coin. We have Jeff. On Hyperliquid, is it anywhere else? Nope, just Hyperliquid. It's probably a pair over on Hyperliquid. A lot of times these type of meme coins do not get me excited at all because a lot of them are just cash grabs. Look at it. Boom. Went way up. Let's look at it in market cap, right? So what was its market cap at that point? At that point, right? Talk about a rug pull. $94.8 million in market cap. And where is it now? $6.4 million in market cap. Where do you think all that money went? I'm not saying they did it, but I'm saying it's suspicious. Suspicious for sure. So we're not even going to talk about that one. And I'm sure a lot of these, as we get towards the bottom, are going to be coins where, you know, people made meme coins and they took advantage of people who were hyped about Hyperliquid. I would say that buying meme coins on a new emerging L1, it really depends. I think Hyperliquid being a decentralized exchange makes it kind of less exciting for a meme coin, therefore probably more bad actors. So let's hop back over where we were talking about some more factoids about Hyperliquid. So Hyperliquid is gaining attention in DeFi and on-chain trading. So performance advantages, nearly instant finality, order book transparency, low fee, and leverage capability makes it attractive to serious traders. I could see why that would be. If you've ever used a centralized exchange, you have no idea what the order book is. If you thought you had a certain amount of money locked in and then you didn't, you had a stop loss, and then price went crashing so fast through it that it stopped you out all right, but way under where your stop loss was, right? So you thought you had locked in some gains and then you wound up being negative or liquidated. That certainly is a real problem, at least with a transparent order book or blockchain technology order book on blockchain. You could at least go look at what happened on the Explorer, right? That's the concept. Volume and liquidity traction, rapid growth and perpetual DEX trading volume, capturing significant market share. I think we've already seen that. Fair and community-driven model, fair launch. We talked a little bit about that. How many coins do you have in your portfolio that are fair launch, that weren't sold off in seed rounds to a bunch of VCs who then crushed you and your dreams and your project? One of the largest crypto airdrops, 310 million hype were airdropped. That's pretty cool. With no VCs or private investor allocation. I love the vibe. I love the style of that. Self-funded governance design builds trust, which I think is very true. So what's up? The latest updates, integrations, and innovations for Hype. Hyper EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine launch, brings EVM compatibility and ecosystem expansion. I think that's what Hyper needs, because one thing we don't really think about when we think about new L1s is what is the coding, right? Look at Cardano and all the coding complications over there. Most of your developers are on Ethereum. Why do you think that is? They always tell you they're all over on Ethereum because Ethereum has security, because it's the second biggest. Well, that's true, but they understand how to code over there. And if you can make your project EVM compatible, I mean, look how Berachain basically made a copy of Ethereum and they just changed proof of stake to proof of liquidity, which are almost the same thing, but slightly different. And now anybody can just port from Ethereum over to Berachain. I think they need to prove why people should do that, why they should care about being on Berachain, right? They need to market and get some excitement going. Anyways, enough of that. Deepening the ecosystem, which is what they've done by having the EVM compatibility. DeFi protocols, cross-chain bridges, gaming, AI, and NFTs, continual integration. Of course, what did we look at today? So we saw a launch pad. We saw what are the projects that we went over today in their ecosystem, because we were already down to market caps lower than $10 million, right? So not big, serious projects. Again, Hyperliquid itself is a decentralized exchange. It has a purpose, Hyperliquid itself. But ecosystem-wise, you're going to see a lot of stuff like stablecoins. Of course, a launch pad was pretty cool to actually see something, but the rest were just meme coins. And that is not the type of thing that I personally want to see in an ecosystem. But before we are too harsh on the Hyperliquid ecosystem, remember it's very new and it's very niched out. Decentralized exchange. So deepening the ecosystem is good. Underrated opportunities inside the Hyper network, yield strategies via vaults. So market making, liquidity vaults, and copy trading opens new earning pathways. Didn't know they had copy trading. That can be a really good or bad thing. Staking based returns protocols like looped hype and staked hype offer leverage returns of 10% plus APY. Fee-driven token mechanic, high fee redistribution that burn rate incentivize holding and boost hype's value. So hype is probably a good thing to look at, which is the native token of Hyperliquid, by the way. Interoperability and growth potential, cross-chain access, Hyper EVM programmability. That's what we were just talking about programmers and having the ability to understand how to program on your chain that you want to program on. If it's EVM compatible, makes it so much easier. And DeFi composability creates room for innovative dApps and higher adoption. If a bunch of those words scared you and made you want to click on a different channel, you might need to raise your crypto IQ. And that is what we are trying to do over here Monday through Friday. At least. I think I'm going to do some GameFi streams on the weekends maybe. But that is what we're doing Monday through Friday here at Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. Please join us. Please tune in. Please raise your crypto IQ. We need it. Maybe that'll cause people to stop making random meme coins that are stupid. That's my personal opinion, and it's not financial advice. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. I will be back tomorrow on Thursday for another one. Don't know what we're going to be doing yet, but I can tell you it'll be informative. And it'll be a deep dive probably of an ecosystem because that's what I'm having a lot of fun with. Get in the Discord, start a conversation. Tell us how you got into crypto. Tell us why you're in crypto and what you like looking at. Are you into the GameFi? Are you into the decentralized exchanges like Hyperliquid? You know, what is your cup of tea? Come tell us about it in the Discord. Till then, oh, okay, Crypto Keep. You got me. I actually did pull it up so that we could go over it, and I was about to hop off without even saying anything. So sorry to anybody who jumped off thinking I was ending the stream. We are going to talk about VPay. For Crypto Keep, we're going to check this out because he's been a real one in our community for sure. So VPay, AI banking, Web3 freedom, and virtual everywhere. CryptoKeep, can you tell me where you found this or why you were looking at it? So VPay is the first AI-powered omni-bank purpose built for Web3 native finance, combining traditional banking features like USD accounts and card issuances with intelligent automation and tokenized utility via the Virtuals protocol. Okay. So like a lot of ones that you find, it's over on Virtuals, right? So meet Ava, your applied value agent. I like how they said applied value agent. Do they mean AI agent? She doesn't wait for commands. She observes, learns, and acts. From spotting better prices before you check it out to flagging unusual activity to catching tokens, moves, and travel deals before they hit your radar. So she's going to book like a trip for you, you know? So like while she's trading coins for you and making you money, you know, she's going to set you up with a vacation in the Bahamas. Ava is always steps ahead. I don't know if that's actually what they meant, but it's pretty cool. So let's go quick. Let's take a look at the max chart. How long has this thing been around? So it's making bold claims like many of these websites do. Okay, so you're invested in it. All right, cool. And you found it on X. It's got $1.9 million in market cap. So far, I was liking their website quite a bit. August 18th, 2025. So it hasn't been out very long, which doesn't mean it's a bad project or anything like that by any means. It's on the base blockchain. I think location is important. You see a really cool project and then it's like on Ethereum, and it's like something that's exciting. Well, excitement doesn't really live on Ethereum like that. Maybe now it's starting to catch up, but for the last couple of years, excitement has been Solana, base blockchain, stuff like that. So I do like to see that it's on base blockchain. I would like to see some interoperability. I would like to see it on some other, layer ones, but that's okay. Let's see what its categories are. So the virtual protocol ecosystem and AI agents. Virtuals on base. We'll have tons of products that may do something this cycle. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I actually am invested in quite a few AI agents during the last big AI agent pop. Still holding a lot of them. That portfolio is down considerably. Nothing too crazy, but it's down a good bit. I'm hoping that AI agents will come back. So VPay isn't just a neobank with crypto features. It's an entirely new financial layer built for the realities of Web3. While other patch legacy systems, VPay is architected from the ground up with intelligent automation, cross-asset flexibility, and global compliance at its core. So cards, accounts, swaps, reward, all powered by Ava, are always on AI agent that adapts in real time and evolves with your behavior, backed by modular infrastructure stacks. VPay seamlessly bridges fiat, crypto, and synthetic assets all in one. I wanted to say synthesize so bad, but no, that's not what it was. So unleash access, power up, shape the next era of AI banking. I mean, this looks really cool to me. Do you know if they have a working mobile app? Because this right here looks like they're going to tout some kind of mobile app. So you have VPay virtual card. I think they probably... Oh, it's a virtual card, all right. So you're not getting it. I was going to say they could have came up with a cooler name than that. But it's actually literally a virtual card. Stake for loyalty tiers, early access to Ava. So is Ava even functioning yet? CryptoKeep. Let's go check out their Twitter. I do find this project interesting, and I think AI agents is a perfect narrative. I don't know how AI agent isn't going to come back. Coming soon. Okay. I mean, it is very new, so we can't hit them too hard over the head for not having everything built out before they launched, because they probably needed liquidity. But you never know what they're going to do with that, right? What do they do when they get the liquidity? So introducing VPay, the intelligent omnibank. Built for people who expect more for their money and less from their banks. Here's what VPay offers. Looks like they have a cool little video. All right. The audio, absolutely pointless. So they're touting like a mobile app. Sounds really cool, especially if it can book me a vacation. I'm all for that. It's got to pay for it too, though. So all of that and more coming soon. Offshore accounts, cards, flights. Okay, so they are talking about flights. I was just joking about that. Hedge funds, smart on-chain trading, all on VPay. Here's somebody talking about it. Are they paid to talk about it is always the question. Surprised that no one has guessed this yet. Hint, the big one, VPay. All right, man. Well, I'm thinking this is looking pretty cool. They will have an app, virtuals, and real debit cards. Do you have any timeline for that, CryptoKeep? I always would love to know what kind of timeline we're looking at. I like it. VPay seems pretty cool. I love the idea of like just throwing the AI agent $100 and being like, do something with it. And if it can't turn $100 into $200, then I will just walk away and be like, this isn't working. But VPay could do really well, and the market cap is tiny. What I think we really need here, and this is something I've been kind of waiting for, CryptoKeep, is attention around AI agents. We really need some attention around AI agents, and I just haven't seen it right now. Ethereum is starting to move, and a lot of altcoins that have been waiting forever for their turn to move were starting to move, and then Bitcoin pulled back. I'm glad to see that Ethereum has been sitting around 4,500, 4,400, really keeping the $4,000 price range. If we could stay above that and Bitcoin can then consolidate for a couple of weeks and then start to pump again, I think we'll be in a good place. And then maybe towards, the end of the year, say in October or something, maybe we can get some more excitement around AI agents. And if AI agent narrative could really time perfectly with the top of the market blow off top, if that's what everybody's talking about, man, these things could do some incredible numbers. Didn't specify any dates yet. Attention will come to AI in general. It's just a matter of time. I completely agree with you. My thing that I'm looking at, though, is it going to be in this cycle? Are we going to have a super cycle? Are we looking at our regular 4-year cycle, which would mean that the end of 2025 going into 2026, the year of 2026 would be the bear market, would be the beginning of the bear market and the pullback if we follow the traditional 4-year cycle. I'm kind of inclined to say that we will, not financial advice, of course, my opinion, that we will follow the 4-year cycle. Because I think there's big people out there who want to keep it that way. Or they could throw a curveball. Everybody could sell at the end of this year, and then the next year could be monumental. Always a little scared of that happening. So you got to keep a runner, as they would say in the trading world. You got to keep a little bit in there. But a lot of people, I think, are hoping for a super cycle. In the past, they didn't sell their bags. Me last cycle, not because of a super cycle, just because I didn't know what I was doing back then. Didn't know about the 4-year cycle, and I held on to my coins. And if you've had to hold your coins through a bear market, you will wish that you have sold. Trust me, because it gets real stale. And that's the best time to deep dive and research and get some liquidity, some money, and get in there. Exactly what I did. And I'm up much more than I was the last cycle. But I don't want to mess it up again. I don't want to wait another 4 years. That's kind of my little rant on that one. We will have a crazy cycle. The only issue this time is that big institutions will control the market. I think that's what we've already seen. I think that is what we're watching. Bitcoin's not at 175,000 because institutions have been playing institution games, the same thing they always do, but we will make money. Yeah, we will make money. Money already made. Now we just have to know when to exit. And the big question, and we're getting towards the end of the stream here, so I'm just talking. The big question in my book is, are we going to regret selling at the end of 2025? Or are we going to be the smart ones who knew when the top of the market was? I'm going to definitely hold a little bit of something, and let it run and run through the next cycle with it. But I'm probably going to cash out most. Because I don't want to wait another 4 years to significantly change things in my life financially. Because I already waited 4 years, right? It'd be different if I would have sold at the top last time or somewhere close to it. Anyways, those are just my rambling thoughts. Jump over in the Discord. I see there's 7 people on here. Appreciate you guys being here. Hop over in the Discord. We can continue conversations. Right now, again, I am deep diving some projects. Darkstar promises that you can make a minimum of $5 a day. I haven't seen it yet, but it's a little bit of a game. Hopefully it has a mobile app eventually, but it's a game that you can play. I'm trying to figure that out. And then Telegram GameFi. Got into looking around at that. Right now I'm mostly just farming airdrops, and we have no idea what they will be worth, but I'm posting all of it in the DeFi Hangout section on the Discord, so hop on in there. I'm going with the goal if I hit a certain number amount. Yeah, I hear you. Crypto Keep, though, I would really tell you to be quite careful with that, though. Make sure your goal is conservative in things, is my personal opinion, because a lot of people wait for a number, and that's the number one reason why a lot of people didn't sell the last top. They were rather waiting for a number in their portfolio, or they were waiting for Bitcoin to hit a certain number, and it never happened. The bear market came before that number, and then they had to hold it for 4 years, or they sold it significantly less than what they wanted to have. So just keep that in mind. Never telling you what to do with your money, man. Of course, everybody is their own person as far as I'm concerned, and they're going to make their own choices that are hopefully not based off of somebody off of YouTube. Cool. Glad to hear that, man. I'd love to even chat more about that in the Discord. I'm going to hop off the live for tonight. We've gone a little bit over, but I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully you can join us tomorrow as well. And Crypto Ron out. Again, I still need something cool to say at the end, something catchy to say. Yeah, no problem, man. Later.